Welcome to Smart Investing with AI. I'm Jennifer, and today we're going to see how top investors are leveraging the latest technology to produce consistent, phenomenal results.
Thank you so much for joining us on this overview. We're here to take a look at the Aurum Foundation. I don't work for the company myself. I'm not employed by them to share this information. I'm purely an independent. The thoughts and opinions are my own. I've formulated these opinions myself. I've done a lot of due diligence, and I'm happy to share that with you. It might go some way towards helping you decide what you'd like to do with this. Of course, I'm not an accountant, or I think they call it accountancy. They call them CPAs in the United States. I'm not a CPA. I'm not an accountant. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just here as an educator to share the thoughts and opinions, what I've come across and what I like, and even what I don't like, I'll tell you about as well. So it's always prudent to do your due diligence, regardless of what business you're going to start. Maybe speak to a professional from that business. What did impress me was this gentleman here, Brian Benson. He worked as a trader with Morgan Stanley, a very reputable bank. And from Morgan Stanley, he went then over to the Web3 space. He got involved with cryptocurrency. He developed a payment application for a bank in Colombia in South America. And from there, then he was an ambassador for a very successful blockchain called Algorand. I don't know if you've heard of Algorand. They have their own coin on that called Algo. He was an ambassador for that company. So he's well into technology and blockchain. Eventually was recruited by Binance. And over at Binance, he did a sensational job. He went down and opened up the business for Binance in Mexico. He went as far down as Brazil. And he did Chile, Peru, Colombia, Paraguay, everywhere in between. This man was the eyes and ears and the man on the ground for Binance in LATAM. LATAM is Central and Southern America. He's fluent Spanish, and he opened the Binance operation in his own name. So he opened all those companies in South America for Binance, but in his name. And when it was ready to open, then Binance wrapped itself around Brian's companies. Now, Brian was the managing director for LATAM, and he brought 20% of Binance's revenue from that region to Binance. Now, that region represented 20%. And I don't know if you know this, but Binance went from nothing to $1 billion in 6 months from launch. I mean, that's what they call a unicorn. It comes from nowhere into being this amazing company that came from nowhere, beat Microsoft, beat Apple, beat Tesla to $1 billion revenue. And this man generated 20% of those funds based on the region that he was managing. So he was a big influence over at Binance. Now, he didn't get the job as CEO. Richard Teng, friend of Brian's, got the CEO role. And I suppose a lot of you people on the call are glad about that, because otherwise we wouldn't be having this call today, because Brian would probably be the CEO of Binance. I think there's probably nobody better to represent this company. He's a man of expertise. I did a Google search on him here and he came up everywhere. And this was very positive. There's history here, which is important. There's images here. You can see when he's a much younger gentleman. You can see images of how he looks today. He's actually 51. So he's not an old man, he's not a young man, but he's a mature man who understands the industry. And he was interviewed by people all around the world, news channels, Cointelegraph interviewed him last month. Forbes have written about Aurum on more than one occasion. And Forbes invited him to their finance council. This is a big recognition for Forbes to appoint Brian Benson from Binance originally, but now the CEO of Aurum. He's now on the Forbes Finance Council, and Forbes is a very reputable media company. They choose wisely. They know experts in their field of expertise, and they invite them to this Finance Council. So I thought this was a fair point to make, and certainly got me thinking, wow, this guy's good. Morgan Stanley, Binance, Forbes. And then when I saw that they'd done a deal with Visa, I went, oh my goodness, here they go. They have Visa as well on board. So there's an issuing bank, a regulated bank. I've drilled down and found out the name of that bank. It is a proper regulated bank that have issued this card on behalf of Aurum, with the Aurum co-branded. So you would realize that the bank has to do its due diligence before it can partner up with Aurum. So they know who Brian Benson is. They know the directors. I'm sure they asked for last year's accountancy. I'm sure they've checked all the licensing before they would partner up. So all of these signs were leading me to thinking, well, this is certainly worth investigating further. This man seems to be an incredible gentleman. He traveled the world. He spoke at 2049. This is the largest blockchain conference on the planet. I believe everybody was here, like Donald Trump's two sons were here. Michael Saylor from Strategy was down here. Who else was at it? CoinMarketCap were there, but lots of people were there. Binance were there. The guy that created Tron, his name is Justin Sun. He was there. Everybody was there. 25,000 people showed up. And I sat a few people down to meet this man, and they told me The queues outside the place were serious. They were queuing from early morning to try and get in. And the tickets at the end of the day were $1,400 to get in to see this man. Now, he spoke on stage. He's out there looking for partnerships, looking for liquidity for his products and for his community. And what this tells me is when you have a man like this willing to step into an arena of experts, I mean, these are the blockchain experts. If he's willing to step inside here, this man has nothing to hide. He was actually honored, he said himself, to be invited as a speaker, and he spoke at this event. They had a stand at this event. But that's not all. He also spoke at the Finance Week in the Emirates as well. So this is a week that they dedicate to AI, blockchain, and everything crypto. Brian Benson was interviewed by Wendy O, a very popular social media lady. She's an influencer in that space. But here again, you'll see that at the Builders Roundtable, this was only 5 experts were invited to stage. And of course, we can see Brian Benson here for Aurum, second from the right-hand side. But look who's sitting next to him. Yeah, he's sitting right next to Sebastian from Sandbox. I don't know if you've heard of Sandbox, but guys, go ahead and do your homework with Sandbox. And again, co-founder of 1inch. So this is a panel of experts, and it kind of tells you, not a bit of wonder, Forbes have invited a man of this caliber onto their finance council, and that lets him publish and talk about blockchain and stuff that he knows about. But then again, very recently, he was invited to the Satoshi Roundtable. Now, Satoshi Nakamoto is the pseudonym that created Bitcoin. Let's call it the first blockchain. And the Satoshi Roundtable was formulated where experts in the industry came together, and every year they meet at the Satoshi Roundtable. Well, yes, Brian Benson had a private invitation to that. The media aren't allowed in here. The experts in the world that formulate the future of AI, the future of finance, the future of blockchain, the future of cryptocurrency, all of these minds come together. It happened this year in Dubai. They took over the Waldorf Astoria Hotel, closed all the restaurants. These guys took over the whole building and can't get in here. They were sitting, churning and talking and designing the future. Brian Benson was in, strutting his stuff again about his Aurum company and what he wanted to do. So I then said, well, I better go and just check where this company was set up. I see here they have a company in Hong Kong. I believe they have offices there too, the Aurum Foundation Limited. I checked out the business registration number, and I then asked the office in Dubai, could they send me a copy of the licensing? And I can see here, this is their commercial license from the Economy and Tourism Division in Dubai, issued by the Dubai government. I see it's in 2 languages here. That's Arabic, I assume, along with a little bit of English here. Now, they have hidden telephone numbers, which is fair enough. I mean, he doesn't want 1,000 people or 10,000 people ringing him, but I just wanted to make sure the licenses and the company registrations were in place. And then the next thing, I said, okay, well, the company sounds good enough. I think the CEO is fit for the game. He's fit for the business. So I wanted then to check out the ecosystem and the products that they were offering. I noted they had some physical products, which I think is a good thing when there's a bit of physicality about a business. So they've developed this POS, a point of sale terminal. Many shops have one of these devices already, but this particular one allows the shopkeeper to accept cryptocurrency payments from a digital wallet. And in that respect, it's a great product for shops to get, because now they can invite customers into their store with a sign saying, hey, we accept crypto payments, not just Visa, MasterCard, we'll accept your crypto payments. And if a shop was able to advertise like that, do you not think that would draw in lots more customers to that shop? You know, kids running around with digital money on their phones, they want to buy a coffee. Well, hey, here's a shop, accepts crypto, we'll go in here and spend our money. So I think that's a great product for businesses. Not only that, they can settle payments much faster than the old banking rails. The old banking rails of Visa and MasterCard, they've been around for years, decades, in fact. And it's a little bit clunky. It's kind of Web 2 world. If you have a coffee, I know you pay for it, but actually the shop didn't get the money. It's over with Visa. It's sitting over with MasterCard. The shop hasn't got your money, even though you paid. And it could take MasterCard or Visa, you know, it depends on the product range that they're selling, but it could take up just at the end of the month or month before a shop actually gets your money. But with this device, payments can be settled much, much faster. Between 24 and 72 hours, payments can be settled to the shopkeeper. And therefore, that's great for shops because they can get better cash flow. They have the money faster. So that's another reason that shops might like this device. And the third reason is they can reduce fees. So let's say Visa's charging 5%. They have to make money too. I understand that. If you can go in and tap a piece of plastic and they have to process that, they get a piece of the sale. Let's say Visa get 5% of your sale. So if you spend $1, Visa get 5 cents. I think that's okay. But if we could bring that to 1.1 cent or 2.2 cent, if we could reduce their fees, there's a third reason shops might like this device. And what's in it for you? Well, if you were the person that introduced this device to a shop, your digital wallet will be entered to the software, meaning that every time this machine is used for blockchain transactions, you make money. You get paid. And it reminds me of a business I used to know, a telephone business, that if you put customers onto a service, you get paid a percentage of the phone bills every month. I thought that was a lovely business. Here, if you can put this into shops, for those of you that are connected, guess what? Every time this machine is used on the blockchain, you'll ultimately, the idea is that you'd get this micro payment. It might be small, but at least people spend more in a shop than they spend on their phone bill. You know, imagine that was in a grocery shop. But anyway, prototype is already in the Aurum offices. I saw it myself. I didn't test the machine, but once that's ready to roll out, they're still working on the software for the micropayments. But I think that's a great product, and it's a product that's got physicality to it. They're also developing these ATM machines. These are two-way ATM machines, so you can put in cash to them as well, like a vending machine. You can pop your cash into it, and it'll give you digital money to your wallet. And vice versa, if you need cash, you can generate a QR code, present it to the ATM machine, and out comes the cash if you need it. So that's in the pipeline as well. But they also have launched their own exchange. And what's different about this exchange is Brian Benson is offering 50% of the commissions and profits back to the community. And that's quite exceptional. You know, if you check any of these companies like Crypto.com or Binance's of the world, these guys are making fortunes. Go and check out what Binance made last year. And then ask yourself, well, how did Binance make that last year? On transaction fees, people using their exchange. So if this was ever developed to the extent or even half of what Binance is, because Brian Benson was engaged with that company, if he's able to do that with this and 50% of the fees come back to the community, I would say if I ever needed to use an exchange, I'd probably prefer to use this if I knew there was a reward coming back versus using some other exchange. So that's a great thing as well. They also have a staking product on it where you can get 17 to 20% a year on your money. Well, that beats the bank, and that beats real estate, and that beats gold. That's an incredible product as well. So if you have a little bit of XRP sitting, doing nothing, pop it on here into the liquidity staking pool, and then every single day they add free XRP to your wallet. Or if you want to, let's say, a little bit of Bitcoin or USDT, imagine getting 17 to 20% a year on your money without any trading. And 2 points I must make here. Number one, it's an annual yield of 17 to 20%, but it's paid daily to your wallet. So every day you get these fractions. And the other good thing is you can draw it anytime. There's no lock-in. It's not like leave it here for a week or 30 days or a year. No. Pop it in and take it out tomorrow if you need it. So a very, very attractive product. Now, I'd like you to listen to Brian here himself just for a few minutes. Brian saw thousands of people becoming very, very wealthy when he worked over at Binance. Over there, he was the managing director, but here he is the CEO, and he wants to do it again, this time in the Aurum brand. He wants to create 1,000 millionaires. That's his goal.
We're on a mission to create 1,000 millionaires that don't have $1 million today. So if we can come up with a system whereby there's, hundreds of thousands of people in there, but 1,000 of these people turn into millionaires, then those assets are inside of our platform. That turns us into a unicorn right away. And so that's really the goal that I have as an executive at the company is how do we get people that don't have $1 million today to get them to $1 million through saving, through yield-bearing assets, through compounding interest, through a lot of these things that have been around for a long time, but that not everyone in the world uses. And these are tools that are super important to get us there. So that's how we're measuring it internally is if we can get to the point where we have 1,000 people that have become millionaires through our system and through working with our products, then that gets us really close to the unicorn valuation. And we want to be a fintech unicorn. I think Binance was the fastest fintech unicorn ever in the history. I think it took less than 6 months. We used to have a slide about that in our pitch deck. I've done this before. I've been involved in one of the fastest growing fintech unicorns in the world. And I think what we have at Aurum is actually very similar to when I started at Binance.
I think what we have here at Aurum is very similar to when I started at Binance. So isn't that incredible that what he felt at that time at Binance where, it just went massive growth, he's starting to feel that again here right now with Aurum. He's starting to see that momentum. He's starting to see that interest in his product, in his ecosystem, in his community. And that's what he's telling us here. I've done this before, guys. And what I see here at Aurum is very similar to when I started at Binance. So that tells a story in itself. So guys, that's part of a larger interview. I just thought that was quite interesting just to hear from the man himself. Now, how it works is there is a $20 a year subscription. It's $19.99 US dollars. I call that 4 cups of coffee. And it's a subscription a bit like if you had a membership to the gym. You can go into that gym all year. You can use the running machines and the rowing machines. You can use the steam rooms and the sauna rooms. You can use all the equipment in the gym. Same here, when you pay this $20, it gives you access to this fintech range of products that they have, and you can go in and use this and use that and try it and off and on and do what you wish. But you see, you can promote a website, like you could promote a travel website, you could promote a clothing website, you could promote a holiday website or an airline. You can do any of these things. And here what you're doing is you're promoting a $20 fintech, financial technology website. That's all you're doing. You're not licensed to sell securities. You're not licensed to sell investments and things like this. Well, most people aren't. So the idea here is when a customer registers and subscribes to the platform, that customer then is dealing directly with Aurum for these products, not from you, because at the end of the day, you don't have any Visa cards to offer. You don't have any AI robots, or you don't supply any of these point of sale terminals. It's not you. You don't have those. But you can point somebody in the direction, just like telling people a good plumber, a good restaurant, hey, here's a great site, try that. And if they subscribe to that, they deal directly with Aurum themselves. That's how it works. Now, we've talked about some of the physical products. Here's some of the, what I would call the digital side of things. They have this EXI bot. I'm told this is the most popular product they have. It started back in January 2023. How do we know that? Because people have been looking at the trading accounts and on the exchange, and they saw the first deposit made to this trading bot was in January of 2023. The first deposit went in here was $1.5 million. And then if you go and read on Binance, and you can read it on Forbes and Cointelegraph and all these different platforms, you'll read, I think it's actually Forbes where I read it, it said that Brian Benson closed a $12 million VC venture capitalist into Aurum. And when you read that comment from Forbes, obviously they've done their homework to find out this information. And there is a rumor going around that that company, and somebody said it was a bank, I don't know if it was a bank or who it was, but whoever those VCs were, they offered $100 million to buy this 4 months after they tested it. And it was refused. Aurum decided no, they weren't going to sell the product. So that's quite interesting. Now, most people haven't heard about it in 23, even in 24, but a year and a half after they launched this, they decided to open it up to the retail market. So it was not designed for direct sales or for affiliate programs. It was designed for what's called accredited investors, for high net worth individuals, VCs, banks. That's what that product was designed for. Again, it's Forbes. That's right. It is Forbes. It says they provide institutional grade trading. So institutions are things like banks and these big funds that use this kind of stuff. That's what it was designed for. But in September 24, they started the affiliate program because someone advised them that if they wanted to create an exchange, then a great way to generate a lot of customers, a lot of data, a lot of wallet holders, token holders, a lot of community, the way to do that would be affiliate marketing. Brian Benson is familiar with affiliate programs because Binance had one themselves. And of course, Apple had an affiliate program, and also Amazon have an affiliate program. So they decided to go that route in September 24. Now, I never heard about it in 2024. First time I heard about this was in 2025, first quarter, April of 2025, I heard about it. But on the screen here, we got this data on the 1st of February. There's now $77 million trading in this particular product. And in the month of January 2026, it made profits of $11 million. So really good results there. And how it works is very simple. On average, the fund generates about 17.5%. So through its highs and lows, the average across the term of trading is about 17.5%. However, they don't offer that to their clients. What they offer is a neobank. Now, a neobank is a new digital bank. You can download the app on Google. You'll be able very soon to download an Apple. You download this banking app and they give you 8 wallets. They'll give you your own Bitcoin wallet. They'll give you your own Ethereum wallet. They'll give you a USDT wallet, a Doge wallet, a Pepe wallet. They'll give you a BNB, the Binance one, and they give you a Polygon wallet. They give you 8 wallets. And it's up to you. If you want to fund them, you pop in, say, a little bit of USDT, and then you can use it in their ecosystem. So let's say you wanted to try this bot here, and you wanted to try $120, something like that. That's going to fall into the basic category. Those customers are benefiting to the tune of about 10% a month, okay? Now, for customers that can do more than $249, let's say you could do $400, or you wanted to try $512 or $832, because there's no packages. You just make a deposit. And whatever that is, it falls into a certain category. So those that I just mentioned would be in the standard category. Those accounts are getting the benefit of it about 11% each month. For those who could do between $1,000 and $2,500, those guys get 12% a month. And you can see clearly yourself, the larger the deposit you make to the account, the better the potential rewards to your own account is. So that's pretty cool. I can show you an account here. It started with $500 on the 17th of April. But look at the right-hand side of your screen, guys. I want you to draw your eyes to the very bottom right-hand corner, the 17th of September. I want you to go back over here on the left and see 17th of April. That's when the account was created. And this account has made $382 in 5 months. And you might ask yourself, well, is that good? Is $382, is that okay? Is that good or is bad? What, well, you really have to do the math on it. And how to do that is you take the profit of $382 and you put it on top of the deposit, which was the $500, and you divide that 500 into the profit, and that'll tell you the percentage gain. And the percentage here, profit, is 76% in 5 months. And that's pretty good. Now, I'm not giving you any financial advice here. This is past performance. It's not indicative of what might happen in the future. I mean, people couldn't tell you what price Bitcoin will be in 7 days from now. How could you ever know that? But based on data here that we have in front of us, this is customer data. This is not company data. This has come from a customer account. And they're showing us here that they made 76% in 5 months. And I think that's very good for a small account. You're not going to get that in any bank. You'll not get that in real estate that I'm aware of. You're not going to get that in buying gold. 76% in 5 months. It's really, really good. Then I got access to a larger account. The next account I want to show you is a $10,000 account. Now have a look at this. Inside the circle, you'll see this one was created on the 10th of April. Let's go back here, 10th of April. Can you see here? And this account was funded with 10,000. But I don't see any 10,000 there. What I see is 12,360, which means this account made $2,360 in 5 weeks. Now, how do we know it was 5 weeks? Well, if we look at the bottom right-hand corner, we're talking about the 16th of May, but the account was opened on the 10th of April. So April, May is 1 month and 6 days. It's almost 5 weeks. Let's call it 5 weeks. So that works out at 23% in 5 weeks. And what's strange is the customer was expecting 15%, and they got 23%. And we found out that the reason this account did so well was because the customer chose to reinvest the profit that they were making every day. They were adding that to the principal fund in either Binance, OKX, or KuCoin. But when you have this reinvestment button turned on, the profits remain in trade with the principal, and therefore you can actually do better than what these accounts are saying. Now, we checked the account out again on the 24th of June. That represents 10 weeks trading, and it jumped up another, $3,200. So in the first 5 weeks, it made $2,300. In the next 5 weeks, it made $3,200. Actually made more in the next 5 weeks. So a total of 55%. After 3 months, it jumped up to 17,000. After 4 months, the account doubled. Again, I'm not giving you any financial advice. I'm just showing you facts and data, screenshotted from a customer of Aurum who shared this with us. So that's incredible. Turning 10 into 20,000 in 4 months is just sensational. And then we had another look at this on the 10th of December last year. And you can see the same account started on the 10th of April, has jumped up to $39,000. And then that was after 8 months. After 9 months, it went up to 46,000. And yesterday, the account's up to 55,000 now. So it started at 10,000. And in 10 months, it's 55,000. Pretty serious stuff. That's 5.5 times in 10 months. So what's that going to be like by the time a year comes up on that account? Also, you can notice here the profit you can withdraw. Do you see this withdraw deposit? You can withdraw your deposit on the 1st, 10th, and 20th of every month. It's subject to an early retirement fee of 35%, but you can withdraw your profit every day as long as you're not trading it. So they allow you to take out your profit, and the fees are just 1%. So very, very low fees, guys. So that's a little about the best product that they have. The reason it's the best product, I'm told, is because it's the longest running. AI today cannot remain stagnant. It has to use what's called machine learning. It has to use what's called deep learning. And the more data feeds, the more data points it can rely on, it can process like 10,000 processes in a split second, faster than humans without emotion. It can execute a trade faster than somebody can press a button, and it can jump out of a trade as quick as well. And if you've checked ChatGPT, it's interesting, if you ask it to do something, like within split seconds, these complex things are resolved and given to you instantly. And same here, if this can pull data up from 10 years ago or 5 years ago and put these situations in one, that's why this is done the best. Now, they started that in January 23. At the end of 24, they launched 2 more bots. And then in 2025, they launched 4 more. So they have 7 of these operating right now. I've only focused on what they call the popular one. The other one's called the Pro bot. The other ones are called the Zeus bot. And you can find out more about those yourself, or maybe the person that shared this with you knows a little bit more about those. But I just wanted to give you an overview on the CEO and a little bit of homework I did to find out bits of things, to get their license and see all those kinds of things, their company registration. I wanted to look at the products and see what I could find out about those. And the last thing I want to talk about is this card, and I thought this was quite well. You can see Visa and Aurum's on the same piece of plastic, but they've also got a MasterCard, which I didn't realize until somebody said, no, they've got a MasterCard as well. But this particular one doesn't require your passport or your driver's license. It doesn't need a utility bill, like a phone bill or a bank statement. It doesn't need any of that stuff, and you can get a card here. Brian Benson told me there are 5 companies right now knocking down his door to offer him products like this to offer to the community. So I think they know what he's capable of. They know what he did in Binance. They know that this man's on a mission, and they see him traveling the world building that brand. And they brought on 3 VCs last month, and they probably got those venture capitalists at one of those events like Token 2049 or at the Finance Week in the Emirates. When people see him on stage and talking, to come and meet. That's where he's bringing. So they have an affiliate program bringing customers. They also have VCs trading it over there as well. So they're playing both sides, the corporate VC role, but also they have this retail model as well. Now, this works on Google Pay and Apple Pay. It's been very, very successful. There is a fee of 2.2% to top up your card, but that saves you going to find an exchange. You don't have to upload a passport and all that kind of stuff. So it's a very good price point there. And it allows you to spend your cryptocurrency anywhere where Visa and MasterCard are accepted. So if you made some profits in that trading bot, you could actually take them out and put them onto the card. Just press a button, top up. Or if you made some affiliate commissions, you go top up and put it on the card. Or maybe you don't have the card, or maybe you don't want to trade. That's fine as well. You could import USDT from Binance or from MetaMask or from Trust Wallet into your Aurum account and press top up and put it onto the card. You don't have to trade. So there's a variety of products here, probably something to suit most people, between the staking products, the exchange, the shopkeepers, point of sale terminals, maybe the ATM machines. But they're also now going into real estate. And they're dealing with a very big developer in Dubai. It's a fully licensed long-term developer in Dubai, where they're going to fractionalize real estate and put it on the blockchain. And all of this ecosystem tells me these guys have good intentions. They appear to be creating a phenomenal ecosystem for longevity. They haven't even launched their own token yet. So BNB was very successful on the Binance Smart Chain. It was a token Binance developed to use as a utility token or a gas fee. And Brian Benson's going to launch the Aurum token. I think he said once he had 250 or 300,000 customers. Now, I don't know how many they have at the minute. They're probably only about 50,000 customers. But once they hit about 250,000 or 300,000 customers, maybe 2 years from now or whatever, they're going to launch their own token. And if that mimics the BNB token, that could be quite interesting as well, because the BNB token started at 8 cents. And it went up to like $1,000, from 8 cents to $1,000. So imagine that opportunity presented itself to this community 2 years from now or something. So I think all in all, I've got to say I was reasonably impressed with the whole opportunity. There's going to be 4 cards available, starting from $33 with no monthly fees, $66, no monthly fees, $99, no monthly fees. The one we looked at there is the best of them. It's $249 and no KYC. The only one available is that Aurum Infinity card at the moment, but they're going to launch those 3 other virtual cards. Here's a guy in the UK testing it out. He stopped his trading bot from trading. He pressed top up, and he sent the profit onto this card, and his wife sent him down to the shop to get some out. Let's see here how we get on.
Here we go then, second official transaction.
No, purple and white. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you, Mina.
So there you can see, imagine being able to spend cryptocurrency in a predominantly fiat-based world. And then we also saw it working in India. I mean, it's been working all around the world. I'm not surprised. Visa works all around the world generally so. But here's a guy in India who had his card and he went to do a withdrawal from the ATM machine. Now, the ATM machine is actually speaking in English, but the gentleman is speaking in Hindi.
हेलो दोस्तों, आप मेरे हाथ में ये कार्ड देख रहे होंगे, औरम का वीज़ा कार्ड, और मैं आज इंडिया में पहली बार एटीएम से इससे कैश विड्रॉल करने का प्रोसेस कर रहा हूँ और देखते हैं ये किस तरीके से काम करता है। ये बिल्कुल उसी तरीके से काम कर रहा है जैसे नॉर्मल अकाउंट एटीएम करते हैं और मैं फ़िलहाल केवल 500 रुपीज़ इसमें से विड्रॉल करने की कोशिश करता हूँ और मैंने ये दबा दिया और ये बोल रहा है कि आप कितना कन्वर्जन के साथ आप किस तरीके से आगे बढ़ना चाहते हैं और मैंने इस पर कंटिन्यू कर दिया और ये इसने कैश विड्रॉल मुझे अवेलेबल करा रहा है जैसे कि आप देख ही रहे होंगे। और इसने बोला कि आप अपना कार्ड निकाल लीजिएगा। मैंने अपना कार्ड वापस ले लिया और ये मैंने 500 रुपीज़ आज फ़िलहाल विड्रॉल करके पहली बार ट्राई किया और ये सक्सेसफुल हुआ। थैंक यू।
There you go. So it was interesting to see that operating as well. So really, all in all, we've had a good look there. We've kind of peeled the onion a little bit there for you. We've opened a few layers and showed you a few things. We focused tonight on the CEO and his reputation and his skills and his connections. And he appears to be a gentleman who's very well placed to do what he's doing here. He's certainly a man of expertise in this industry. There's no doubt about that. In terms of the products, I thought there's quite a good range of different products. So maybe there's nothing that suits you, that's fine. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm not even giving you my referral link or anything. I'm just sharing education with you to let you see how this works. But there's a whole lot of, something for shopkeepers, something for traders, something for staking, a Visa card without KYC. There's lots of products here and more to come, I believe. So, and I want to finish now, for those of you that have asked, could we explain a little bit about the affiliate program? If you give me just 5 minutes, I'll run through this. It's quite simple. Affiliate programs are very popular today. As I said earlier, Apple have one, and Amazon have one, and Binance have one, and I don't know if you're from the UK, but Tesco stores has one as well. Lots of companies have affiliate programs. Affiliate programs are very simple. It's a way of rewarding customers for recommending other customers to come into their shop. That's really what it is. It's a thank you bonus for recommending somebody. And here at Aurum, it doesn't cost anything, so it's free. If you have obviously a bank account with these guys, they will give you a referral link in your account that either you use or don't use. So if you don't want to refer, don't bother. But if you did feel that you thought it was a great product and you wanted to mention it to somebody, if they use your referral link, the company would send you 3% on that deposit. But they have 7 bots. They only pay on the deposit to the EXI bot. If somebody deposits to all those other bots, you don't get any payments for depositing. But just this one, you do. That's quite interesting. Like if somebody put in $100 to try it, you're going to get $3. It's not a lot of money. But if that customer in 4 months decided to put in an extra $100, you're going to get the $3 again. And it's quite simple. You could have 1 customer, you could have 2, you could have 4, you could have 9, you could have 2,000. It doesn't matter. You can have as many customers as you want using your referral link. Now, if you'd like more than 3%, what you've got to do is you've got to become what's known as a Voyager. Because now you're going on a journey, you're going to build a business. And when there's 7,500 of total trading volume in that EXI bot, derived originally from your ID, like you might only introduce 1 customer with $100 or 2 customers with $100. And one of those customers introduces a customer, and then the 7,500. So it's the total volume. It's not your customers. It's all customers. Once that reaches 7,500, you get that promotion. And you get 5% then from then on in deposits instead of 3. So you're getting a pay rise. You get $100 bonus. And then you get 5% every single day on the profits from all of the customers in the entire group. As long as there's no other Voyagers in there, you're getting 5% on every single customer to infinity generations that are making profits every day. It's a daily matching bonus equal to 5%. Put it like this. Imagine I was your customer and I made $100 tomorrow. You get 5% bonus from the company. You get $5. That's how it works. Or let's say I got $200, you get $10. But every day the customer gets money, you're also making money. So that's a really good bonus over there. If you'd like more than 5%, well, then you might want to search for the Vanguard position. And what you need here is you need 25,000 of total trading volume from the entire customer group. You need 2 voyagers in your business. You don't have to introduce them front line. They can be anywhere in depth. Maybe somebody on the 4th level, maybe somebody down on the 11th generation. As long as there's 2 voyagers, there's $25,000 in total team trading. Your own account is trading about $300 at this stage. If those 3 criteria are met, you will be promoted instantly to Vanguard. You get 7% on deposits. You get a 500 immediate cash bonus. You don't wait for it or ask for it. It's smart contract right into your account. And then you get this pay rise. Your daily matching bonus equals 7.5% of all customers to infinity, unless there's a voyager in the way. So let's say in this example there is, because there has to be, because you need 2 voyagers to go Vanguard. So let's say you introduced a customer, you got 7.5% on their profit, and they introduced a customer, you get 7.5% on their profit, and they introduced a customer, you get 7.5% every day on their profit, and they introduced a customer who's the voyager, the 4th one down, example. You get 7.5% on that as well. But that voyager now gets the 5% on every customer down. You get 2.5 override on all of that. So there's 7.5% to pay out. The voyager takes 5% from there down. You take 2.5. You take that difference the whole way down. But if you have other lines with no voyagers in them, you're getting 7.5% on every trading of every customer. Even if they put in Bitcoin and you don't have any Bitcoin, you get 7.5% in Bitcoin. If a customer tries to put in a little bit of Pepe or a bit of Ethereum, you get 7.5% every day, a match in Ethereum, even though you don't have any Ethereum in this yourself. So it's a nice way to build a portfolio of coins if you can shoot up those ranks. And if you kind of understand what I've said there, I don't expect anybody to understand it fully first time. It's a bit like hearing a song for the first time on the radio. You like the song, but you can't sing it. You have to hear it again. But if you generally understand what I've said there, you understand 90% of the plan, because all it requires for higher commissions is if you bring 62,500, for instance, a little bit of structure over here, then you go Vanguard Pro and you get a $1,000 bonus. If you bring a little bit more volume, you go Nexus, you get 2,000 bonus, etc., 5,000, 10,000. So there's lots of nice bonuses in there. But in addition to that, if you hit the Oracle rank, the company then give you a share of the profits generated by that $77 million. So as of the 1st of February 2026, there were $77 million trading from the whole community. If you hit Oracle, every 3 months, the company give you a split on all of the trading profits. So what they do actually is they take 3.175% of their daily profit, they put it away in a pool or a pot or a shareholder's pot, and they say for Oracles and above, we're now going to give you a little slice of everybody's trading profit, not just your own business that you brought us. We'll now pay you on the up line, on the cross line, on those people you don't know, and the entire $77 million trading. Now, of course, maybe by the time you hit Oracle, it'll be 100 million trading, but you know what I'm saying. 3.175% of all daily profits are reserved, and it's split every 3 months with Oracles and above. Really, really good bonus. Now, there are 15 ranks. There's only 7 there. I originally thought when I saw this is multi-level, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looked to me like the 7-level thing. Nothing like this. This is 7 promotions. It's like if you worked in a shop and you start off on the ground floor and you get promoted to supervisor, that's first rank, you get a pay rise. And then you get promoted to manager, you get a pay rise. And then you get promoted to area manager, you get a pay rise. Then director of the company, you get a pay rise. So this is the same. These are pay rises every time you hit a rank. That's what this is. It's not 7 levels, because you get paid on all customers to infinity generations as long as you have an overriding percentage rank. Now, there are 15 ranks. That's 7 ranks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But if you want to get a $20,000 bonus, then you go Elite. If you'd like a 50K bonus, you go Magnet. 100,000 is Mythos. Legend is 150. But if you want to be one of Brian Benson's millionaires, I've no doubt, if you make your way to the rank of Dominion, you will be one of Brian Benson's millionaires. We heard him say it himself. He wanted to generate 1,000 millionaires. He saw thousands of people at Binance do it. He wants to do it here. So again, don't be misled that high earnings are easily achieved. I mean, there's a bit of work here to be done. Develop a few skills. You have to commit a little bit of time and effort to this. But if for those that do, I've no doubt, for those of you that hit Dominion, you're one of Brian Benson's millionaires. I know 1, 2, 3, I know 3 people already did this inside 10 months. In less than 10 months, 3 people went to here already. So it is possible. Maybe it might take you a year, it might take you 2 years, but it's certainly a very strong affiliate program. With that said, I hope you do your due diligence, seek professional advice, and I hope the decision you come to is the right one for you and for your family. Thank you very much, everyone, and we'll see you again at another time. Thank you. Goodbye.
Don't miss out. Click the link below to see how you can start leveraging the latest AI technology to start growing your wealth.